I'm Kirsty.
We are the Art of Decluttering in your ears every Monday morning or whenever you choose to listen to us.
Yeah.
Today's episode's an interesting one, Kirst.
It's a sharing and borrowing economy, and it was requested by Emily Batchelor.
I really like this as an episode request. That's super cool and something that we are using more of in our lives.
Yes, and that we always want to encourage other people to do. So
Kirst asked a good question like 2 seconds ago before we hit play or before we hit record was, what's the purpose of this episode? And the purpose is we want to help you to reduce your consumerism and think of alternative options instead of always purchasing and buying. So if you need something, is there an alternative to you going out and buying it new? That's what this episode is all about. And we think that's, Emily, what you were after.
yeah. So the sharing economy is an economic principle that is constantly evolving. In the very simplest terms, it is the use of technology to facilitate the exchange, access of goods or services between two or more parties. It's derived from the notion that mutual parties can share value from the underutilized skills or assets. Where's that from?
The internet's
Like Wikipedia or something?
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's just what sharing economy is, which is basically two or more people sharing an asset that is potentially underutilized.
And it is projected to grow from 15 billion in 2014. Get this.
This is the sharing economy.
Sharing economy. 15 billion in 2014 to 335 billion in just 5 more years in 2025.
Yeah. 15 billion, 2014, 335 billion in 2025.
like
I thought that was incredible.
$320 billion of growth.
Yeah. So the shared and the sharing economy is that economic system where assets, services are shared for free or for a fee. It actually doesn't matter whether you're paying for it or whether you're not paying for it. It's about sharing.
Yes. So like Uber.
Correct.
Is a perfect example of the sharing economy because you pay for the service, but everybody's sharing the car.
Yes. And another example of the borrowing and sharing economy is when you borrow a platter from your mum.
Yes.
And you're borrowing a platter that she otherwise owns. Presumably your mum doesn't bill you for it because that would be awkward.
But more props to her if she does.
Come on, mum. Can you imagine that? Like there's all these mums going, hello, I've got like a whole economy sitting in my kitchen. I've got cake platters from the 80s that I could lend out and hire out all over the place.
They should.
They totally should.
But that's the point though, isn't it? That, you know, you don't always have to go out and spend $25 buying a platter when you could pay a nominal fee to your mum, in this case, or you could get it for free. But even the idea of even hiring, you know, like, you know, clothes hire is going gangbusters at the moment, and that's probably going to be part of this 320 billion growth in the next 5 years is dress hire.
Yeah. When you're going to the races, or like even back in 2002 when we got married, all the men in our bridal party, they all hired outfits. They didn't buy suits. They hired suits. They were only going to wear them for about 12 hours and they were done.
Yeah. And there's always been hire places around, but like online hiring is huge now. So you can totally hire a dress for $70 and it's the latest schmickest dress that you could ever have and that you could never, ever afford, or you would choose never to afford, or you do, and then...
But you would buy it and then you're not going to wear it again. And so then all the production, if you go back to our Clare Press episode, all the water, all the resource, all the technology, all of the effort in creating that item, instead of it being worn once or twice, is worn dozens of times.
Yeah.
It's a much better for the environment option.
Yeah. And better for everybody.
What kind of...
Better for your own wardrobe as well.
Yes.
And same with the platters and same with Uber.
Yes, save some space.
Save, you know, take back your car. Like.
Brilliant. I really think there should be like camping places that are...
There are.
Are there really? Where you can just hire like a tent and a this and a that? Wow, that's awesome.
And there's a whole like Camplify. You can hire caravans.
That's cool.
So like you can literally Your neighbour down the street probably has their camper van on
Yeah.
Camplify.
That's really cool. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So not just like you can do camper trailers or proper caravans, camper vans, all of them.
Great idea.
You can hire them.
That's because people are smart and they're onto this and they're going $335 billion industry. I'll get in that.
Well, but it's also like you know, Australians have 4 weeks of annual leave. And so for the other 48 weeks of the year, our camper trailers are sitting there and our caravans are sitting there. And yeah, we might take them away for a weekend here and there. But most people aren't away for every weekend. And even the grey nomads are in Melbourne for the 6 weeks of summer and then they're travelling
that's right.
everywhere else for the rest of the year.
That's a great idea.
So why not make money off this $40,000 investment? Why not make some money back by hiring it out?
Excellent idea.
Yeah.
I really like it.
There's so much that you can hire and borrow and it's not just about hiring. It is going, well, I'd love to go to the snowfields this year, or you know, I come down in July next year and I want to take the kids up to, you know, Lake Mountain and go tobogganing. Well, put a shout out on Facebook and say, hey, I'm taking the kids up to the snow. Can I have a size 11 and a size 9 outfit,
Exactly.
please? Yes, your friends have things. We all this is probably a mass gross generalization. We all have too much stuff. We could all live with less for a couple of days of the year or forever.
That's right. If someone asks to borrow something and you haven't used it in the last year or two, just tell them they can keep it or they can pass it on as well. Like, just keep that circle in motion where you're like, yep, it's yours, do what you want with it. And if I need it, I'll ask to borrow it back.
Yeah. We should have, like, you know how there's free library, like the book libraries, the tiny libraries. We should just have, like, tiny everything.
Well, there's, yeah, that's true. You can put your frying pans. But there's tool libraries.
Yes.
So you can go and borrow tools as part of that. We use Uber. Both of us are Uber users. I don't use Uber Eats a lot, but I have used it. What else do you use? Airbnbs are my favourite. I use that all the time.
Yeah.
That's how we holiday.
Yeah. I don't have a pet, but I would. I could think if I did, I might have a pet sitter or
I
house
just was
sitting.
a pet sitter.
House swapping.
House swapping.
You and Jess do that.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I was just like, we don't have a dog. We just borrowed a dog for a week. We borrowed our sound engineer Jared's dog. He was overseas, so we babysat Pebbles. And even though we don't have a pet, we pet shared for a week.
Yes.
And my kids loved it.
And they learnt the art of not getting a dog.
Yeah, and now I don't have to pay for Pebbles' vet fees and stuff, but I still got a dog for a week. They didn't send me an invoice for, well, over the 12 months, this is how much food she'll eat. No, I just got a dog for free for a week.
Yeah.
And possibly help them out as well.
You did help them out, and you saved yourself $4,000 not having to buy a dog for your kids.
Exactly. I see lots of cars when I'm out on the road that are the rideshare cars.
Yeah, and the Go Get.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah, so this episode is to encourage you to be a conscious consumer and to really think about your next purchase. Mm-hmm. You know, when you go to upgrade your car, have a real good think about whether or not you actually do need to upgrade your car, or could you use public transport? Do you live within walking distance of a train or a bus? And could you just start using public transport, all those rideshare? Mm-hmm. You know, Go Get. Where was I yesterday? I was at my cousin's baby shower and one of her friends had hired a Go Get car.
Awesome.
And so she was leaving because she had a time that she had to get the Go Get car back.
Huh.
So she's like, I'm sorry, I've got to go. I've got to get the car back because it's not her car.
Yeah, brilliant.
But what a great use of her money. Like, how much money is she going to be saving every year, not having to pay rego, petrol, insurance, and the price of a car?
Yeah. Are you loving getting into decluttering and organising? Are you excited to get into different spaces in your house and just see the transformation that is possible? But are you also finding that there are some things that just aren't sticking, that you're finding that you just don't have the routine or the system to really hold you where you want to be? Well, Kirsty and I have developed the Art of Decluttering online course, which is an amazing 6-module self-paced course with an interactive Facebook community. So if you want to go from overwhelmed to just nailing this decluttering thing, we would love you to join us. You just visit artofdecluttering.com.au/course. We have payment plans available. Access it today and see that transformation that you've been dreaming of. Have an organised home that stays organised for life. We cannot wait to see you in the course. Well, one of the things we've just decided that we're going to use the sharing and borrowing economy for is our whippersnipper broke. And I don't know if it's just the Ravel family, but whippersnippers break all the time.
No, it's a whippersnipper. They're the worst invention
They're the worst.
ever.
They're so
I mean,
bad.
there's a great invention.
No.
But the design is faulty.
It is. I'm so
Faulty.
glad we are on the same page as
I
this.
think everybody in Australia is on the same page. This is not unique to you and I. Everybody hates whippersnippers.
They're terrible things.
Just go back to the old manual cutting of
Seriously, our neighbour, she's so beautiful. She's been in her 80s. She cuts her front lawn with scissors. Yeah.
We
She's
used to
so
have
cute.
one of those rolly things.
Yeah. Like a pizza cutter.
Yeah, a big pizza cutter. Simon used to do our edges with that.
Yeah.
Go back to that, peeps.
Go back to
People
that.
of Australia, take back your
Pizza cutter.
pizza cutter
Lawn thingies.
lawn cutters.
So Cal said, I've got to get the whippersnipper fixed. And I said, no, I'm drawing a line in the sand. We both work full time. We are professional adults. We are no longer whippersnippering our own yard. And our next door neighbour has a gardener. So I marched over to them when they were there next and said, I think it's time that you started doing my garden because I'm sick of paying for the whippersnipper to be fixed. I actually think it'll probably be like 6 months worth of him coming in and doing the garden for free for the sake of not buying another whippersnipper.
Well, he's not doing it for free, is he?
No, but like for the same
like
cost.
the same cost.
You're
That's
right,
what I
sorry.
mean. Like,
Yeah, no.
so for the
But
cost
if
of
you
a
are-
whippersnipper,
if you are
you're
listening,
hiring
Alistair, and you'd like to do it for free, you're
Go
more than
for it.
welcome.
We'll even advertise your business on the
That's right.
podcast.
We'll do
for
whatever
you.
it takes. I promise. I promise.
Not whatever it takes, but we'll go some way.
So that's our latest. It's not sharing and borrowing, but it's using his equipment so that we don't have to house it and keep it and service it.
But that goes into this service industry of what can we outsource? Because like the sharing and borrowing economy is about outsourcing our our needs to something else.
Saving our time.
Yeah.
And allowing somebody else to use the time. Because time we don't have an eternal abundance of. Neither do we have an eternal abundance of money. However, you get to that point in your life where the balance tips. You have an abundance of time and then it tips at some point for some people, whether you have more money than time and so you're able to engage other people to help you, which is how people engage our services.
Yeah. And it's also about going, what can I give? Like, what can people borrow from me?
Yes.
So I'm going away on holidays and I'm not taking my Thermomix because I'm going to Fiji for let's say I don't actually have a Thermomix.
Or going to Fiji.
Or going to Fiji. But let's pretend that I do and I am.
Yeah.
I am going for a week. Which one of my friends could do with my Thermomix for a week? How can I share my worldly goods that are worthy of sharing? So if anybody wants to lend me their Thermomix while they go to Fiji, I'll be saying yes. So what can we borrow to friends? What can we lend? What can we do without? And that whole scarcity mindset. But what if I need it? I'm not going to need it when I'm in Fiji. But even like, what if I need that platter? Well, and you've lent it out to a friend and they haven't returned it yet. Just go ask another friend.
Yeah, you've got a neighbour.
Go
introduce yourself. Do you have a platter I can borrow, please?
Oh.
And bring it back with some baked goodies on it.
Well, do you know what?
What?
Karen, our listener, my beautiful friend and my beautiful neighbour, did exactly that.
Oh, Karen.
Yeah. So she messaged me and said, hey, I need some like cupcake trays. And she does this every year or every 6 months for birthdays. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So she sends one of the girls round and I didn't know which size. We've got 4, which is ridiculous. We don't need that many. At the time I was like, this is ridiculous. I should just say keep some, but I know she doesn't want to keep any because she just wants to borrow them off me.
Yeah.
So I sent them, and they came back with 4 muffins.
Oh, that's the
4
best.
cupcakes, ice cupcakes.
We all need a Karen in our lives.
We do. Karen is the best.
Good job, Karen.
And that's who I was hinting at about the Thermomix when you go on holidays next, Karen.
Well, we're going on holidays to Rye for 4 days with our extended family between Christmas and New Year. And we've got friends staying in our house because they're coming down from Queensland at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. I'm not offering a lot. I'm offering 4 days of accommodation.
Yeah.
But how good is that for people? Maybe you have a spare room and you've been thinking about putting it on Airbnb. That's a great idea. If you feel safe and comfortable doing that, you create a whole nother room for a human for as many nights as you hire it out each year. It's amazing.
Or use house sitters and do or house swaps.
Yep.
They've got that's a whole business.
That's huge.
So, when Chantel's when Chantel's mum wants to come out from Switzerland, I've got a place in Sydney that you can all stay while I go to Switzerland.
Sold.
So it's about thinking about what you can give back to this sharing economy as well. And just start asking on Facebook. Nobody's going to think that you're stingy or that you're cheap or you can't afford it or anything. And if they do, you can defriend them. Just start sharing your stuff and see what comes back.
Yeah.
Because it will come back to you in spades
And
too.
as Kerr said, it's not about being cheap. It's not about that. It's about reducing our consumption and our impact on this planet. We talk about wanting to live intentional lives. And part of that is about choosing not to consume, not to put demands on manufacturing. If every time every Australian needed a muffin tin, we all went and bought one, they're just going to keep producing them. But if we stop doing that and there's one muffin tin per 10 houses on a street, the demand goes down. That's how a free economy works. And all of a sudden production goes down and our impact on the planet goes down. And in every area of our lives, we can do that with clothes and cars and shoes. And, if you've got a friend who wears the same size clothes as you, talk to them before you buy a formal dress. Do you have any events coming up? Should we shop together?
Yeah.
Oh, so many ideas.
Yeah, that's what I did when I went up to my cousin's wedding a couple of months ago. I just went round to Em's, tried on all her dresses, chose my favourite. That's what whenever I'm talking to friends and they're like, I've got to go out and get a dress. I'm like, why? Come over to my house. I've got 10 dresses.
Yep.
And then they come over and look at my dresses, realise they're 10 years old and go, going to go shopping now, Kirsty.
That's gold. My sister and I share each other's dresses and things quite a lot, and it's perfect. We're not often at the same events, so it doesn't matter. And who cares anyway? We need to get over the thought of, but I wore that dress to the last event. Get over that thinking, because that Instagram, I need a new outfit for Instagram thinking is really impacting on our planet and really impacting on your hip pocket.
And really impacting on your wardrobe and your clutter in your wardrobe.
Yep.
And, Clare Press said that we only use 40%, and I think
20.
it would be like 20%.
Yep.
But it's also a great way of getting to know your local community. So if you're using like an Uber and you met a really nice person, just, get them to come every time.
Yeah, that's right.
And if Karen, as I said, I don't think Karen owns any cupcake trays, or if she does, she only owns one. And when she does birthday parties, she needs more than 6. So she always asks me.
Yep.
And I'm always going to be saying yes if I'm home.
I love it.
So not only can we save money, not only can we declutter our houses and have us less clutter in our house, not only can we save the planet, but we can also be good community, good citizens, and get to know our community and be kind and loving neighbours and friends.
If that's not enough reason, 335 billion. That's all I have to say. There's 335 billion reasons why this is an awesome way to shape your life going forward.
And if you've got a great idea for the sharing and borrowing economy, get in on it now.
Yeah, get in on it while it's still got growing to do.
You want some of that 335 billion? Come up with a great sharing and borrowing economy idea, and we will shout it from the rooftops.
We sure will. Tell you what else we're going to shout from the rooftops. Rooftops? Can't say
Reviews.
Reviews. Okay, I'm going to read out One from iTunes USA.
Yay!
It's from Troubled Clef, and it's a 5-star review titled Micro Decluttering. They write, "Got a minute? I really enjoy listening to these podcasts. I listen to them when I take a walk, and it inspires me to do something that day on my decluttering goals. This morning, I decluttered half of a kitchen drawer while waiting on my coffee, and I wasn't even fully awake yet. That is an awesome micro declutter." That's so good. This next review is a 5-star review from Lisa Bennett on Facebook. She says, "Love listening to these ladies. I put them on while I'm doing my housework, and they're motivating and entertaining. I feel much more in control of my home space after following their advice." We love your reviews. Keep leaving them. It helps other people to find our podcast, and it warms our hearts.
We cannot wait to be back with you next week as we share whatever goodness comes to us in between now and then.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.
If you've learnt something awesome today, we'd love you to leave us a review on iTunes or Facebook so others can find our podcast too.
Don't forget you can see the show notes in your podcast app or over at our website artofdecluttering.com.au. So if there's anything you want more info on, check it out there.
If you'd like to join our supporter community, you can do so over at patreon.com/theartofdecluttering.
We hope you have a great rest of your day
and enjoy the freedom.